If you've looked at the Test batting ratings over the past few years, one name that appears frequently alongside Steve Waugh and Tendulkar and Lara will be the softly spoken 27-year-old Indian who's been playing his cricket for Kent this summer, Rahul Dravid. He hasn't all been plain sailing because in 1996 he came to England on his first tour. He wasn't selected for the first Test match. India lost that and he got a late call-up for the second Test match.
Morning of the Lord's Test, Sanjay Manjrekar had to pull out due to an ankle injury. Gave me the opportunity, and the rest is history. Growing up as a kid, you always read and heard about Lords and walked through that long room, pushed the gate through. It was a fantastic feeling, I remember thinking that, well, even if I don't succeed as a Test cricketer, I'll always have this memory to cherish. I remember feeling a little nervous for about 10 or 15 minutes, the whole atmosphere and the Test cricket and the enormity of the fact that you're playing Test cricket finally. But then after about 15 minutes, I just sort of got used to it and started enjoying it really. Played a square cut early on, which really sort of gave me a bit of confidence.
Cracking shot. That's a cracking shot. Right off the meat of the bat. Beautifully played. He got into such a good position so quickly. Nice shot.
Nice stroke. That's the sort of stroke India need from Dravid now, with the tail enders joining him out there.
I think I was disappointed not to get the 100 at that point of time. It got so far and I was very determined to get that 100.
And he's gone. Just 5 away from a century on debut and a moment in history. And Rahul Dravid is on his way back to the pavilion.
When I sat back and thought about it later on at the end of the day, I realized that, it's fantastic to even get 95, and on Test debut, not many people are able to do that. Trent was a fantastic wicket, and both the teams just piled on the runs.
At that stage, he wasn't one of the more prominent players in the team, but obviously he's changed that now, and he's obviously right up there with the best world-class Indian batsman.
Well, he's not only looking for his shots, but he's playing them very fluently indeed. That's a very fine shot.
Just went on and scored 80 runs and felt really good, really. Felt like I'd established myself on the side.
Dravid first made an impression in a Karnataka side captained by Anil Kumble.
Anil got into the Test side, and then Sri followed him soon after, and they did really well, established themselves. Give a lot of the other boys, the younger lot of us coming through the ranks, a lot of confidence. We believe playing with these boys, and we've grown up with them, and we play them regularly in the nets. And after that, 7 or 8 of us have gone on to play for India from Karnataka, and Karnataka have done very well in the Ranji Trophy as well. My earliest memories are of having a cricket ball or bat in my hand. Where I grew up, we had a lot of open space. Grew up in Bangalore, and in the area where I where my parents built a home. Weren't many houses, and most of the plots were empty around the house. It's not the case today. The kids of the street or the kids of the next street would get together, and we'd have these cricket matches in the evening. And that's where you sort of developed playing, just playing in empty plots on the road sometimes, and that's where the interest really developed.
Well, I suppose it's only logical. If you need 24 to save the follow-on, why wouldn't you get it in 4 hits?
Only Kapil Dev could have done that. Only Kapil Dev.
Growing up in India in that generation, really, I think the heroes of most young kids and mine as well were Sunil Gavaskar, G.R. Vishwanath and Kapil Dev, really. They were 3 big names in Indian cricket at that time. Great buzz too, whenever they came down to Bangalore to be able to watch cricket matches.
The youngster was keen to make his mark, and it helped when Tendulkar made his Test debut when only 16.
Sachin played Test cricket at the age of 16, and suddenly what people realized is that they could push younger boys into their domestic first-class sides, if not for India, at least into first-class sides. And that was a big boon to a lot of us, because with Tendulkar playing at 16, suddenly at 17 and 18, a lot of us were making first-class debuts. We were being pushed into Ranji Trophy at a very young age, which normally would take 21, 22. Suddenly young boys were sort of, they realized that young people can play, and then they should give them chances quite early.
For a promising young player on the way up, certain milestones beckoned.
I think getting your first Test 100 is a big milestone. That first 100, it makes you feel that you've arrived really in Test cricket. Till you get that 100, you always feel that you don't really belong. I had to work very hard for that, and I had to bat for long periods of time. The ability of being able to bat for such a long time against the likes of Donald, Pollock, Klusner, McMillan, I think was really the next turning point for me and gave me an inner belief. It's been a challenge for me to try and do well outside India. I've always felt that I must do well outside India, because that's where people will always say, yeah, well, he does well at home, but Indians have always been said that they don't do well abroad. So for me, it's been a sort of personal challenge. I like to believe that I can do well in different conditions, and I've worked very hard at it. And I try and use the early part of the tour, in any tour that I tour, very usefully. Try and get as many nets as possible, as many practice matches as possible, and try and build on that. And things have luckily gone well.
And that's fondly driven.
But a Test century on home soil proved strangely elusive.
Good punch down the ground by Rahul Dravid.
People kept on asking me about it, and I reached a point where I was, I must get this over with so that nobody asks me this question anymore. And it was good to get it against New Zealand. We batted so well that we nearly ended up winning it after being bowled out for 18 the first. So, it was special. It was nice to do it at home.
Nicely driven. He's found the gap again.
And 4. Good morning, Shane.
That's it. First 100 in India for Rahul Dravid. It's been a long wait, but he deserves the applause he's getting here. He's fought hard with his concentration in this innings.
Hopefully I'll get a chance to get a few more at home, really. I think success in Test cricket is more important, definitely, to me, and as it is to, I think, most cricketers, if you ask them. But success in one-day cricket is important, and I've wanted to go on improving in one-day cricket. I think I've had my ups and downs in one-day cricket. You work in a very limited time frame and everything, so sometimes one-day cricket can be quite difficult. But I'd like to believe that I'm a better one-day player than I was when I started, and I keep improving, and I think the process continues, really.
We'll have 4. Short and wide, and a good stroke.
Good shot, straight through the line.
I think if you look at the great players in this era, the people whom I consider the great players, I mean, you look at the Tendulkars or the Laras or the Wars or the De Silvas. These are people who succeed in Test cricket and in one-day cricket. I don't believe in one-day specialists, really. I think if you're a class player in Test cricket, I think it's easier to be a very good Test player and then to adapt to one-day cricket. It's very hard to be a good one-day player and then try and become a Test player. I think the other way around is a lot easier. And obviously there are a few places in the side where you require specialists, people who can bat and bowl, and specific kind of pinch hitters who are required in one-day cricket. And there's a space for all that. But I think to have two separate teams, completely separate teams with Test cricket and one-day cricket, I don't think is good, or I don't think it'll even happen.
And then there was the World Cup in 1999.
That's all you need to do. A perfectly genuine on-the-up cover drive. A little bit of width from Lance Klusner. It's 50 for Rahul Dravid.
What better place can you to do well than the World Cup? The whole media attention is there at the World Cup. All the countries are playing. I really look forward to that World Cup and prepared very well for it, and was very keen to succeed. And luckily everything came right for me. Yeah, it's just one of those days when things just work out for you. To have two people batting well at the same time, just one of those days. I mean, you need to be, I think, lucky. You need to be blessed. It was a beautiful batting wicket, nice fast outfield.
It really is overcompensated.
Both of us seemed just to be timing the ball very well. It was one of those days where you look back and say, why can't it happen more often, really?
And again. Glorious shot. Glorious shot. Big hit. Massive and maximum score.
Rahul Dravid, 99 not out. He's 100 now. Marvellous innings from Rahul Dravid. It's his 5th one-day international 100, 2nd against Sri Lanka, and his 2nd in this World Cup. It's high in the air. That is a wonderful stroke. He gave himself room. Ganguly will look to push for two, and he will get there. That's his 100. It's his first in the World Cup, and his 7th in all. Smashed through the offside.
Magnificent. Uh-oh. Stunning. See you later. 150 for Ganguly. Well, it was probably the only way that this partnership was going to be finished. A partnership of 317.
It was very special because a lot of my family and friends and people had come down from India, to watch the World Cup, and they'd come for that. They'd come for that Sri Lanka game, and so that was very important. There were a lot of people there, people I knew in the crowd, and to do well in front of them was very good.
This is a superb left-arm spin from Nicky Boyer. Not such a great defensive shot by Rahul Dravid.
But after being the top run scorer in the World Cup, Dravid suffered his first ever real dip in form.
The pitch of that one, the angle also makes it difficult for the batsman, so the misery continues for Rahul Dravid.
It was really successful and really consistent till this winter, the tour of Australia and the 2 test matches in South Africa never really worked out.
I think he just got out. Instead of the ball was just missing the slip or something, it suddenly carries the slip.
I've had a little bit of success. I've got him sort of caught behind and in the slips a couple of times, probably more so in Australian conditions and over here for the World Cup. I know over in the subcontinent that he's a pretty tough player to bowl against.
Sometimes you try very hard and you're trying very hard to succeed. You just sometimes you can try too hard maybe.
You just have one of those games, you've got to pull one that's not quite there. And I'm playing badly, but you just get out.
Maybe wasn't playing as well as I could have.
You do have spells like that in cricket.
And having sort of tried to put that behind me and looked forward to this sort of county season.
We employed Rahul because we thought he was one of the best batsmen in the world and would provide stability at the top of the order. And he's done that.
I think he's impressed everyone.
The first few meetings we had, I thought he might be sitting back trying to find out what's going on about the boys and oppositions, but he seemed to have a lot of good ideas very early on, which was great for us.
English conditions suit him. I think the thing that's impressed me is he enjoys batting and he's patient and he likes being in the middle.
Given the sides we've had and probably our lack of ability to bat for a long time, to have a guy who can actually occupy one end for a day or a day and a half has been perfect.
He's helped the younger players enormously. The Rob Key, Dave Fulton, at the top of the order, he really has been an enormous help to them.
I've been lucky enough the last couple of months to be batting with him quite a bit, and just the way that he just goes about building his innings.
He loves the whole atmosphere around English cricket.
It's special. I mean, people might knock it around, but I still think it's a pretty good standard. It's you play on different conditions, you play against different opposition. Week in, week out, you're playing on different wickets. You get a chance to play in a different environment.
He certainly has different plans, different approaches to obviously playing, top spin bowlers.
When he first came over, I asked him about Shane Warne because as a youngster, you don't really play against much leg spinners growing up.
It was an important game for us. I never viewed it as a Dravid versus Warne match.
It was a contest with Shane Warne that deserved a far wider audience than it got.
We're talking about a track that spun from day one.
Although it didn't have the pace and balance that Warne would have liked, it still turned.
For a guy to bat for that amount of time, and actually I don't remember him playing and missing a single ball.
It was a great duel and well in both innings.
First innings I went out there and got naught where he got me out, and I just had a chat with him for about 20 minutes and just about what guard he takes and how he looks to play, his head position, whether he has his bat in front of his pad.
Robert Key in that same match against Hampshire.
I was lucky enough for him to come in when Fultz got out and just see how he did it from 22 yards away, and he just made it look easy.
You just get the feeling that they're looking and they're watching.
What he does do, he'll block it and block it and block it, but then as soon as he gets a bad ball, he makes sure he puts it away.
Players always learn most when they look, they see. It's not what they're told, it's actually what they see and look and learn and then try and work it out for themselves.
That's something that I sort of learned to do throughout my innings was, if Warne gave me a bad ball, if I didn't quite get it away, I wasn't too worried. I said, come on kids, you've got to get the bad ball away. That's the art of playing good spin. And it does get easier as you go on.
It's always good to do well against a class bowler, and like you said, I mean, he's got me out the most number of times in Test cricket.
It's gone, it's a big shot, he's gone.
It was determined to try and see the side through, and that really meant playing him well.
That's what you want from the overseas player.
His mental approach to the game, his patience, his desire to practice.
You've got to worry when your overseas pro wants a flat quite near the ground so he can come and train on his days off.
It's the fact that he plays so straight and his technique are things that we can try and emulate.
Technically, he looks very good, doesn't he? He's very stylish. One of the old-fashioned, plays very straight, defends well, plays well off the back foot. He's good off both feet, and he's got this desire to be at the crease.
Plays nearly every shot very well. I think he plays the short ball well. He drives well. So. He is a tough player to bowl to. You wouldn't bowl any half volleys to him or something like that on leg stump.
Like most Indian players, plays off his legs well. He's got a good cut shot that he throws a heavy bat at and gives it absolutely everything.
He practices hard, but he knows exactly what he needs and what he doesn't.
I like practice personally.
You could throw at him all day and he wouldn't stop hitting the balls back at you. So it's a great attitude to have.
I personally believe it's very important to practice a lot, and sometimes your views aren't shared with everyone, and each one is his own.
He spends so much time hitting balls.
In the end, it's how many runs you score, and it's not the amount of time you put into practice that's important.
You get out in the middle, and it certainly pays off.
If to score runs you need to practice a lot, then that's what you need to do, really. I really want to be part of a successful Indian team that wins the Test series abroad. I think that's one of the biggest ambitions I have, and really like to achieve that. And hopefully we can do that over the years. We've sort of got to build up a team and get the right sort of balance for that. Obviously, a few personal ambitions which sort of keep to myself, and I'd like to achieve a few things in cricket and just enjoy the game. Really play it as long as I can, and sort of try and stay fit and till I'm playing the games, play it sort of positively and give it everything I've got really.